y'all really gave us this. Y'all really gave us this. This is even low by Saw franchise standards. Trash. Y'all trash. Hot ass trash. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tower here with another struggle review, here to discuss Spiral. Now, this is a new horror film starring Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. Let's just stop right there. A horror film starring Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. Y'all messed up right there. To say that this movie is trash would like completely be an understatement right about now. Let's just say this was a big ass disappointment. Like, you put these two together in this genre and came up with this. First of all, they weren't supposed to be there anyway. You don't put, before I get into that, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things Pookie and Gator. Let's get into this movie. Y'all, I'm tired. I am tired. I don't know what it is, about this COVID situation. And we can't even blame COVID because a lot of the actors who take these roles that they know are not substantial, they are well off, they are well respected. They don't got to do nothing for a check. So why was we here? Why were we here? This movie was absolutely terrible. We are in this movie following a Jigsaw copycat, and we're following him with our lead character played by Detective, Chris Rock. Chris Rock is trying his best to, venture off into other genres and, do you, but leave horror there. Leave it there. It takes a lot to convey and be taken serious within a horror movie. And Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock were the last people that you should have went and got. Like, those are the funniest motherfuckers on the, you wouldn't got them to be serious in a horror film. It'll be drama, sure. Action, sure. Horror? Now, when it comes to Saw in general, I fell off of the Saw wagon franchise a very long time ago. I felt like it reached its peak with Saw 1. And, we had a really good contender with Saw 2. And everything after that, it just really became torture porn, less about, the story. You remember Saw 1 when old dude got up off of that floor and he was alive the whole time, and it was so intense and so shocking. Yeah, after that, it wasn't about that anymore. So now getting here into the 9th installment into this franchise, my expectations were very low. But when you see names attached like a Chris Rock, a Samuel L. Jackson, you think, this might be about something, because I know damn well Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson wouldn't be in the likeness of embarrassing themselves with a trash-ass movie, right? Hell no. Now, this movie was directed by Darren Bousman. Darren Bousman has directed many, many, many Saw films. And I think that it took away from this film, because if you get somebody who's been in the franchise for so long, if you've watched, the latest installments into the franchise, it's not about the writing, it's not about the movie, it's not about the actors. Most of the, shots and angles are all focused on the torture. So that leaves everything else that's going on in the movie by the wayside. This movie did not execute anything great. Not the torture, not the writing, cinematography. It was all bad. Why? Now, we waste no time opening this movie with torture. we instantly get into, you know, this whole trap, and they introduce us to the Jigsaw copycat spiral killer before we ever meet our lead character. I had a total problem with the spiral pig head. Why it sound like Siri? That whole I want to play a game, like, it was the most boring, monotone voice that you'd ever want to hear to, you know, terrify someone. The pig mask was not doing anything for me, so we're left with this voice, and it's just like they're about to tell you to turn left or something. It was horrible. Then we open, you know, with the whole trap situation. Every single trap here, torture here, it was just so dumb. And it wasn't intense. I didn't, you know, fear for the characters. I just was looking like, this is so stupid. There was no thought put behind these things. It's just, you know, at this point, you know, with it being the 9th installment, it's just like, what's new that we could put these people in? Because we done so much. Let's just put his tongue in the thing. And yeah, it was doing nothing. Then we get into Chris Rock. We are introduced to Chris Rock and this whole bum mask. Because, you know, this is the Black Saw. This is the black movie in the Saw franchise. So, you know, we had to be real hood, real, you know, real black. Had some bops on, you know. We got some black cops in this movie. Sorry. Y'all didn't notice it was real hip hop through the film. And, you know, it got real Training Day for a second. But we get into that, and we get into, you know, him being the cool cop, the cool freelance, I don't need a partner cop. You know, I'm cool, I'm black, I got 2 earrings and a little Beijing on my fade. Yeah, you know, the cool cop. That whole I don't need a partner trope. I roll solo. If I had to hear Chris Rock yell, I turned in a dirty cop one more goddamn time, like, we should, like, go back and watch. And every time Chris Rock says, I turned in a dirty cop, y'all stab me in the back. Take a shot. Everybody will be faded, laid out, done. Now, getting into the acting here, we have Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, you know, Nick from Handmaid's Tale. Especially with emphasis on Chris Rock, it was like he was a fish out of water. He had never acted before. A lot of these things can be attributed to really bad writing, but the delivery, the execution, the, you know, the little one-liners he had to kind of make him seem, you know, like an asshole, and just, you know, a trendy cop. Like, yeah, I'm a trendy cop, I'm an asshole, I'm a loner, I don't even know why, I don't even see my kids. Like, just that whole thing, that whole Alonzo thing they tried to have happening with him, it was not working, and it was so cringy. Why? Once we, you know, give Chris Rock a partner, and, you know, we're looking for the copycat killer, and we realize what's going on, that's when we get off into the relationship. I don't know what I missed in the trailer, or I don't know what I was going into, but I did not know that Samuel L. Jackson would be portraying Chris Rock's father. First of all, they look the same age. And I mean, it really means that Samuel looks good because he's older than, but they look the same damn age. Like, that's one. It was just so out of place and so weird to put them in that position. To be, I thought this was going to be like a cop situation. Like, if this was switched and this was a comedy or an action film or a buddy cop film, and it was Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock, like the what is that movie with Mark Wahlberg and Ricky Bobby, Will Ferrell, The Good Guys. If this was one of those The Good Guys situations, this would have been a good ass film. They would have been so much better pairs. So we wasted a pairing of these two on this, and we get things like, oh yeah, I could have shot you. What you mean you could have shot me? I could have shot you, motherfucker. Oh yeah, motherfucker. Like, did y'all even give them any lines? Did you just show up and tell them to talk? If it was it, you know, free range to do whatever we wanted to do? That was the script? It was a script here? Was it a script here? Once we get, you know, introduced to the partner and the whole setup, there is no foreshadowing here, no mystery happening here, nothing for us to feel like, there wasn't any standards set here for, you know, some grand scheme. Because, you know, there's always a reveal at the end of the Saw films. Everything here alluded to his newfound partner being a part of something. We got to see every single cop be tortured except for that one who had just happened to be skinned. So with the poor story and us not having anything to follow, in these cops in the department just being aloof and just walking into the torture, it was just Did y'all even try? We have that with the backdrop of Chris Rock doing this bad force acting and fuck you, no, fuck me, no, fuck you. Like, it was so funny. You ever watch, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and Chris Rock goes, how much for a rib? Yeah, how much for, just pour it in my hand. Can I go, let me get one rib. His intense face to show, I'm the angry Chris Rock. Things are getting intense. I'm getting mad. We can't find this killer. All I saw was, how much for a rib? Maybe it was just me. It was not doing anything for me. I did not like Chris Rock here as the protagonist. I didn't feel like he feared, we trying to say, you ain't saving nobody. You ain't saving nobody, Chris. You not. So at this point, we are left to follow Chris Rock, chasing this copycat killer. We are alluding to, a broken relationship with the Samuel L. Jackson character. And there is enough foreshadowing with Samuel L. Jackson to also show that he is a dirty cop way before we were supposed to know it. We don't really even get a lot of screen time with him. Like, anybody could have played that role. And then we have, the captain. We have that sexy captain trope. In movies where they have the sexy Latina white woman, racially ambiguous female captain who's all fine and Pantene commercial, but she's in charge. Yeah, we have that whole trope. And we just go on this wild goose chase of, them receiving, boxes and packages and clues. And it is just so lackluster and so disappointing and so horror B movie. This is not even in a horror, this is horror B, cheap, red box territory. This was horrible. Ugh. We've, followed these cops, into their deaths. They're just going to die at this point. We get into this character, Benny, this meth head that, the officers are looking for. And at this point, it looks like everybody's on the force is dirty because every time he captures someone, you did this and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, oh, so pretty much everybody on the force is dirty except for Chris Rock. Because that's what it looked like. Once we get into Chris Rock going to find Benny and pretending to be a meth head, crackhead, giving very pooky New Jack City, and has the nerve to say, oh, this is some New Jack City shit. Runs all the way through the building, chasing, it looked very much like Nino, we gotta shut down the Carter. It looked very reminiscent of New Jack City. I'm like, y'all gonna try to do some homage situation in this movie for New Jack City? Get this out my face. Get it out my face. But after we follow Chris Rock, searching for his dad, Samuel L. Jackson, who we got 5 minutes with on screen. But we got just enough time with Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson just to know that their fatherhood, son, kinship situation was trash. And that Chris Rock marriage, was trash and he's a loner. And then he disappeared and we didn't see him again for the better part of the franchise. At this point, we are just following each cop as they die, and Chris rush to try to save and figure something out. And then we get into transitioning to try to make it seem like his partner died and, the captain died. Oh, the traps, everything was just weak. Like, who came up with this torture? Who? If the franchise gets anything right, most of the time it's the torture. How do you fuck up the main part of your franchise? But after all hope is lost, and we've heard, I turned in a dirty cop. I got darts on my back. I don't need no partner. I turned in a dirty cop. After we hear that so many times, we get into them alluding to what we already knew. Hey, if anybody could have got in here, it could have been your dad. He's the only one with access. Where's your dad? Where's your dad? We're supposed to be thinking that, maybe, just maybe, Samuel Jackson has something to do with this. And then, boom, a frantic, exhausted Chris Rock is captured and kidnapped. The plot here couldn't be more weak and more tired and more uninteresting. Once we get into, another tired ass moment of Chris Rock not being able to save someone, because that was secondary here. The main thing in this part of the movie for me was them trying to revisit that first Saw and maybe, just maybe make us feel like, he was going to have to try to cut his hand off to get out of those cuffs. You could never be the first Saw. What? You should have kept that to yourself. Y'all should have kept that to yourself. And then we don't even linger on it for long. It's like 2 seconds in and he magically finds a bobby pin on the ground. Because, you know, we can break bobby pins and, you know how it is in movies. You got a stick pin, a bobby pin, a little bit. You can break some cuffs. At this point, Chris Rock has not been able to save anybody. He's, you know, been entrapped himself and he's just all exhausted and just too tired. And then that's when we get to the big non-existent ass reveal, because we already knew, his, you know, lighthearted, do good, happy ass partner has been the killer the whole time. At which we go through, you know, piece by piece, how he put this whole thing together and why he did what he did. Because this entire time, he has been, you know, the son. This is, you know, a vengeance situation. He has been the son of the man that got shot. You know, that witness, that scene that they kept showing over and over and over again. Yeah, that was his dad. He wants vengeance and, you know, he wants to team up with Chris Rock to kill all the dirty cops. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? After that, we get into, you know, let go of my dad. Just, y'all were never going to win with Samuel L. Jackson being Chris Rock's dad. That was just stupid on your part. So every time he, let my dad go, I was like, well, we get into him being hooked up to this dumbass device where it's pretty much draining his blood. And we go through this whole, you know, will he or won't he, shoot him, let him out of the trap, choose one, this whole Joker, Riddler, Batman-esque situation. At which we get into, you know, the police being called and them rushing in, and Samuel L. Jackson out of nowhere, because, you know, we've already been informed that he was a dirty cop, which we already knew. He turns into a puppet. It looks like he's about to raise his hand to shoot at the police, at which they open fire and shoot him. And old dude just gets, you know, in the elevator and goes off to go moo ha ha ha. And we get a big no from Chris Rock and the movie goes off. Who wrote it? Why? Why'd y'all read the script and take the parts? I ain't gonna get into who wrote it. Why did Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, mainly Chris Rock, because Samuel L. Jackson knew what he was doing. Like, no, I want the 2-bit role. I want to, you know, just show up and get my check. I'm going to be in this film for 2 seconds. Oh, no. This was Chris Rock's whole film. You read the script. You should have gave this to some Joe Schmo, some unknown actor, because this was beneath you. Why? Don't ever do this again. Don't ever do this again. Well, as you guys can see, this movie was truly trash, disappointment, nothing good about it. Don't waste your time watching it unless you want to laugh. If this was a comedy or a Saw parody, this would have been the bomb. This would have been the bomb. I'm hoping maybe they met and kikied on set, and maybe we can get another scenario where we get Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock in something worth watching. This here, and of course, you know, this is not the end of the franchise. There's another Saw coming out. It's just never ending. But I think they should just put a nail in, like, it's done. It's done. But there is a market for these films. People go and watch them. Hopefully people see this and just give up on it, because it's tired. It's tired. It's done. Do I recommend that you watch this? Hell no. Don't watch this. Don't waste your time. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. I'm trying to save you. Well, you guys, that was my review of this movie. Yes, it was all over the place, but I didn't have anything to give y'all for this. I just didn't. This is more of a rant than a review. It was just horrible. It hurt me. It hurt me. If you guys have seen this, please drop down and tell me what you thought about the film. If you have not, don't do it. Don't do it. Just take this as a warning and go your way. You don't need to watch it. I watched it for you. As usual, you know, subscribe to my channel. You want to send some coins, go on and do that. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.